How's it, everybody? We is the Joy Schtick Show. You know, your three favorite friends from Hawaii have gathered once again to talk story about the latest things we've read, watched, or played. We'll share our shtick with you, so stick around. If you fancy what you hear, please like and subscribe on the platform you frequent. Anywhere you can find a podcast, we're probably there. I'm your co-host, Drake. That's Thomas.
What up, what up?
And that's Scott.
How's it?
And again, like we said earlier, we're back and we have some pretty tight things to loosen because we will loosely talk about them. Yes. We'll get into a little bit of a Pokemon, some Blue Beetle. A review section is pretty girthy today, so hope you open up for it. A little bit of TMT. Willy's Wonderland, Twisted Metal, Winning Time, and Star Trek. But, Thomas, why don't you hit us off with something that will take me away from me talking right now?
I don't know if I can, man. I'm too busy thinking about all the tight things you want to loosen.
Heyo.
Right.
There is something in the house that I need to fix. That's why I'm thinking about that. But
Oh, yeah? What is it?
it's a door. It's really
okay.
frustrating.
I thought you
but
were going to say a tight a-hole.
oh yeah. That's later on in the evening times, guys.
Right.
So two things.
So
Two things.
There's two things I got to loosen.
Heyo.
All right. Well, speaking about loosening things, Baldur's Gate has come out and it seems to be crushing everything. Right now it's only on PC and Steam, but you can bang a bear, and I think
Yep.
that's how they sold a lot of people on it.
Shake that bear.
The bear is being shaken. I've seen some crazy videos already from it. I'm not a PC gamer person. Very happy with my PlayStation and Switch right now. Based on what you guys have heard about it, are you in on Baldur's Gate? Would you consider buying it? Or you're like, nah, not for me. They haven't hyped it up enough.
I don't know that I've played a Baldur's Gate previously. I've heard a lot of great things about it. Jake Balladino does a great IGN before you buy on it. There's been a lot of headlines saying that it's going to drive devs crazy because there's just so much things, I think, to like work for and remix and remaster, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
the one
I think-
thing that go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think they said like 100 hours to finish the game.
Yeah, I know. It's
Wow.
it's a commitment, but it's something to be said about Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons, and it's really coming into like the mainstream. A lot of the times we think about it as like an 80s type situation where you're just in a basement with your friends and you guys are all nerds in the bad sense. But now it's like a common thing, as if it's a football or basketball, which
Yeah.
now
I
I
you're
think
like
is awesome.
Joe Manganiello. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
super...
Post Malone
Studs.
plays Magic. He owns a $2 million Magic card, so
Crazy.
That was crazy.
if you're not
Yeah.
cool.
What about you, Scott?
Yeah, I don't know too much about the game, but it is cool to see that it's a fun game and you get that many hours out of it. Like getting a game that's like worth the money nowadays is it's nice. Sometimes you get a really cool game, you're like, it's 5 hours to beat, but it's so good and so worth it, and it's like $70. But it's kind of cool to get a game around $70 maybe, and you get you can play it for the year, or
Right.
something, depending on
Like if
how
it's 5
you play.
hours, yeah, it's like not even, that's like more than $10 an hour of fun.
Yeah.
Like that's
I like that
crazy. You
Yeah.
might as well golf.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Go on golf. Unless you got Baldur's Gate, then play that. But I've
Or
been seeing
that,
a meme circling around where it's like, I'm sure there's more, but it's like an owl bear, like John Cena-ing
Yes,
someone.
from
and
the
then,
top rope, I think it's called.
yeah, from the top rope. Apparently, it kills anything. But it's just kind of fun to see. Like, the game just came out, and you're getting all these weird memes. I'm seeing the memes before I even see that where it actually originated from, and I'm like having to do a deep dive. Okay, what does this even mean? And I'm like, find the original
Yes.
video.
I find myself doing the same thing with it. Yeah, I don't plan on buying it, but the memes, the videos that are coming out of it seem to be kind of hilarious and wild. Like that game, I want to say it's the dirtiest game since Cyberpunk has come out. Like Cyberpunk had some scenes in it that were like, whoa, this is definitely not for kids. And and this one, wow. So if you are an adult and you got a ton of time and a dirty brain, this may be the game for you on PC. Because I think later on this year it's coming out for PlayStation and maybe Xbox. But right now, just PC and Steam. So,
Nice.
yeah. Yeah, tight. All right, we got some Pokemon news, right, Drake? Like a bunch of stuff came out. Is it just for Scarlet and Violet, or is it just or is it for like all the different Pokemon games?
It's like the Pokemon multiverse is essentially happening, but they called it Pokemon Presents, and I believe it was like August 8th or so. So we're already caught up with this news, but the things after reading back on it, some of it's kind of interesting, and some of it's like, oh, if you're super into Pokemon, they've got it for you. So I'll just go through a quick list. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they're essentially going to have an expansion, a DLC, and this is one of the first times that we're going to see a literal DLC to Pokemon in general. It's called the Teal Mask and the Indigo Disc, and essentially it's going to introduce a few more Pokemon, and then it's going to also have an expanded like area of availability within your game. So that could
cool.
be interesting, adding to the lore of. They're going to bring back Detective Pikachu. And so there was
Nice.
it's a sequel essentially.
For the movie?
I believe it's a game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I there's no mention of actual movie again, but they should definitely do
A
a
movie would be
Pokemon
tight,
movie.
too.
Yeah, live action
Yeah.
Pokemon I think slaps.
Yeah, that movie was good.
That movie was good. Yeah.
They're going to add a little bit more to Pokemon Go of the Paldean region. And they're most likely going to add a little bit more Pokemon to Pokemon Go as well too, just because they're going to expand on Pokemon OG. They're coming out with an animated series based on the Pokemon trading card game. Obviously, this is kind of more towards youths, just based off of the cel-shaded characters and kind of like it's not Caillou, but it is close in terms of the illustrations. But it's
Yeah.
called Pokemon Path to the Peak. What were you saying?
Yeah, no, I was gonna basically interject right there because I got to see the first episode of that show at San Diego Comic-Con,
Oh,
and it
Steez.
does look pretty cool. Like I
Yeah.
like the direction they're going with it. Instead of it just having Ash and like his friends, it's basically like two kids setting out, a boy and a girl, and then they both get each a starter Pokemon from one of the regions that we just saw, and then they go on these adventures. So it looks pretty cool. There's a whole new enemy like Team Rocket. They're each trying to do different things. Like one obviously is trying to be like the top trainer in the world, and another one has like wants to just collect them all. So there's kind of like Ash but split up into like two characters. So
Yes.
yeah, and the animation in it is insane. It looks awesome.
Yeah, that's called Pokemon Paldean Winds. And like you talked about animation-wise, it definitely looks more modern anime-based. It's not as, I guess, like black-lined characters and very cartoony. It's a little bit more what we expect from anime. They're also going to bring back classic Pokemon games for the Nintendo Switch Online, so you'll get things like Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon the Trading Card Game for Game Boy on there. You might see some Pokemon Snap coming back too as well. And if you are a Pokemon Masters EX fan, Pokemon Cafe Remix Unite and Masters EX is going to be coming back in. I have no clue what those things are, but
Yeah, me
if
neither.
you're about that,
If you're a
then
fan,
it's there
you
for
know.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're a real Pokemon head, you're getting tons of dome.
Yeah, if you're a real Pokeman
For
or woman
For sure.
or Poke they
It's loosening up all your Pokemon.
holes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Tons of Pokemon stuff. Are you guys excited about any of them? Like, what are you going to buy or check out of any of that list?
Man, that's tough. I do have the newest Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet. I have one of those. I don't remember. And that's kind of telling on how much I really enjoy all this new Pokemon news. I'm glad that they're expanding it because it's a great idea and IP and universe. But it is, to a degree, slightly repetitive. It's not as if you're playing like Animal Crossing, where that is what you're trying to do. Because from our time when we were playing a little bit more competitively, and in the 2-bit era, it was a little bit more like grindy because it was so new. But now, things like Baldur's Gate will take your time away, or with the amount of content that we have available to us on all of our streaming services, all the new movies and shows and Marvel things coming out, it's just really hard, I think, to carve out time to do something that you kind of already know what to expect out of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just a lot going on, and you really have to pick and choose. I think I'm gonna definitely definitely check out the show, and then I think I'm curious to see what they do with the DLC, because I also saw something that said that you can get the starter Pokemon from the original Blue and Red in
Sick.
this new Violet. So
That's
so
pretty
you
fun.
can catch, yeah, like a Squirtle, a Charmander, a Bulbasaur, like all that kind of stuff too. So I'm super about that. Yeah, I don't know. What about you, Scott?
Yeah, I think more along the lines of what you said, Tom. Because I think the game that I currently have is maybe as far as I go. Because I mean,
You
I
have
even heard
Pokemon
about
Go?
the.
You
No,
go for
no, no.
you go for Pokemon Go? No?
I know what it sounds like, but
Are
sadly,
you good
no.
to go?
I'm good to go if you're good to go. Pokemon Go, bro.
Hey.
But what is it? Even the last Pokemon show with like Ash retiring or whatever. Hopefully he didn't die. I don't know what happened, but I heard
Super dead.
I heard even that was good, but I never got around to checking it out. I just hope the generation currently is enjoying it as much as we did when we were younger, because that was the shit when we were younger. And I just remember having like such a good time playing the game and chilling with friends and whatnot. So hopefully they're getting a fraction of what we experienced.
Yeah.
And I'm happy
Yeah,
for
I agreed. I think they will. And yeah, based on what I saw at San Diego Comic Con, people were fired up for it. So it seems like Pokemon is still well and alive and still like exciting young kids' minds and adults too. I mean, there's definitely some massive fans out there.
for sure.
Another thing that I'm curious to see if it will light the world on fire this coming week, on the 18th of August, is Blue Beetle. How are we feeling about it? What are your thoughts? Is this going to be the best movie since The Dark Knight?
Since Green Lantern,
Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you know what's funny? So I rethought about this. I remember when I first saw the trailer, I was like, I don't know. But this trailer recently came on again when my brother and I were watching the Mutant Mayhem Ninja Turtles. I was like, you know what? Like, this reminds me of a modern take of that old movie, Star Kid, that
Yeah.
we've probably all seen. And looking
Well, if
back
you're
at that
our
movie,
age.
yeah, if you're our age, you've probably seen it. And it's like, to break it down real quick, it's like this kid, this alien suit comes down. This kid is able to climb into it, and then he's kind of trapped in it. And he's able, the suit's able to like give him powers essentially, and he's fighting a bad guy. And it's kind of like this, but I look back at that movie now, and I'm like, that movie was crap. Like, if I saw that movie now, I'd be like, what is this crap? But as a kid, I loved the shit out of that movie. I was like,
Yeah.
this is such a cool concept. It's so fucking cool. So, the fact that kids now, like, I can't imagine if I was that young then, and then I got Blue Beetle, like, blow my mind. So, like, I'm trying to look at it through that lens, and this movie looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually more excited for it now than when I first saw the trailer. And I've been hearing good things about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Agreed. Drake?
I guess I am excited just because we get to see Blue Beetle in action. We get to see kind of more of a Hispanic character come out of the DC universe that we haven't yet seen. It is a kind of a younger individual, so we kind of get to see like a Miss Marvel type situation where we're seeing a younger individual grow into the idea of a superhero. Those things excite me. In terms of the track record that DC has been going through, I want to say that I will put myself at a very neutral state and let the momentum push me forward. And then if there's enough, then I'll ride that bandwagon. But for now, I'm going to remain neutral, I would say.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm in. I've been in. I'm there. I love Zolo Maraduena. Like I think he's sick. He just has like that endearing quality that I just want to root for. I'm like, man, yeah, I don't know. I just want this kid to succeed. I heard a reference to the character of Blue Beetle, and while I don't think it's completely accurate, I do like it in the sense that hopefully it sells people. And it's this. For Marvel, we have Spider-Man. Peter Parker's just a normal kid who gets bitten one day and then all of a sudden has powers and then, gets thrust into this crazy life. Well, Blue Beetle is also that same way. He's kind of this kid who finds this alien tech that attaches to his body and then gives him all these crazy powers. And he's just a normal kid. And so I like... If that's the comparison that gets people to go watch it, like I'm super into that. They have completely different power sets. They come from, at least from Peter Parker, completely different backgrounds. But yeah, I've always liked this character. I love the suit aspect of it all. I love the intuitiveness of the suit where whatever you think it does, I think that's so badass. And also he's trying to like fight the will of the suit. So that doesn't just take over him too, right? I mean, in a way, it's kind of like a Venom as well. But I think it looks good, man. It looks really freaking cool. And yeah, it just looks like a ton of fun. So I've been on board. I was also one of the people that didn't hate The Flash. I thought The Flash was okay. At the time, I could kind of see what they were saying. This was pre-special effects. At least I was told by the director that the special effects would be done by the final film. And then by the time I watched it in theaters, it had not changed. So I feel like a giant liar. But this looks pretty good from the jump. I don't think we're going to run into I don't think we're going to run into the same special effects errors that we got in The Flash. So I'm very much on board. I think it's going to be sweet. I like the family story. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on board with it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it this coming weekend, but what about you guys? Do you guys think you're going to actually be able to go watch it, or are you going to like wait and see?
I'm not sure. I might have a window, but I might not. It's kind of up in the air right now.
Same. I mean, obviously work and things like that. I don't know that I've been like excited to watch something in the movie theater as of late, aside from potentially like Oppenheimer or Barbie, just because with like the value of it. I think especially with the Marvel movies, they really, in retrospect, did us dirty with how good they made that Marvel series up until Endgame, because that's like the standard. That's like the Skyrim of what you're basing all these movies off of. So
they did us dirty by making it really good?
Yeah. Okay. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like,
so high now.
Yeah, the bar is too high. Like,
but not to say, is that the studio's fault or is that our fault?
Both. I think it's both. I mean, if we think about the studio, what the studio does in order to, cleanse the palate and also fill the palate of its viewership, you get things like Endgame, and then you get things like Secret Invasion. And so that balance of the in-between is so tough. Expectations are too high on our side, and then sometimes what the production company tries to do is, overdo it, and then they try to just make it artistic, and then that, it's all a balance, and I think it's tough, again, with the amount of things that they're trying to put on in general.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's definitely an interesting time for movie studios. And some of the reviews have come out from early critics about Blue Beetle, and it seems to be pretty positive. I don't even want to try to overhype it or oversell it because, again, I feel like I did that on The Flash, and then the box office was like, F you, dude, you're completely wrong. And again, I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was amazing. Well, I don't know. I could see amazing parts in it. And then the amazing parts I saw, everybody else thought it was disrespectful. So I don't know. But I think that this movie is going to be a ton of fun, at least. I'm going to watch it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to because I'll be out of town week 1, but I do want to try to see it as soon as possible. The only thing I can say about what I've heard from Blue Beetle in terms of the people who've watched it is that the end credit scene is a little conflicting as to what James Gunn has said. about the future of the DCU.
Do you think it was a end credit scene that was made before all the news and stuff?
Yes.
So
definitely.
it could just be like a Snyder cut end credit scene. Maybe.
Yeah.
Which
Which
when you
I
saw Green Lantern, you're like, oh, something maybe could have been in another time.
right.
Which is not bad
right.
too. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be make or break, and maybe James Gunn takes that and then transforms that into something that works for the DCU. So I'm not completely out on it, but I think it makes it a little confusing for some people. I'm super on board with it. I think it looks really good. Again, I just don't know what time I'm going to be able to see it, or any of us are going to see it. So we will try to review that as soon as possible, but it's just going to be what it is. We're going to have to see.
Yeah.
So talking more about reviews, Drake, were you able to watch all of Mutant Mayhem?
I was able to watch all of Mutant Mayhem. I will admit that I was multitasking, so I had it on in the background. There were moments that really engaged me where I completely stopped what I was doing in order to watch it. So, did I watch it? Yes. To say that I
Did you
wasn't
just-
paying attention at all.
Did you just admit to
Is-
pirating a movie too?
No,
on
no,
a
no.
podcast?
You're at the
No,
theater.
I was at
right?
the
Just,
I was at the theater.
Theater,
It
theater
was-
Baltic Catastrophe?
shooting like a Starbucks.
It's a
Sure.
theater that's technically it is a Starbucks. It's a Starbucks theater. It's a new thing that Starbucks created, and you go
Hell
in there.
yeah.
There's a barista. You sit down. The movie's playing while you're on your laptop writing your own, novel
Yeah,
or whatever.
Denver has some
Yeah.
cool theaters.
Yeah,
for sure.
we
I
got some
like
pretty
to
cool
how
theaters.
the way you were describing it is like the seat in your theater. It's like the screen's off to the left.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't want to
Yeah.
be too much like all about what you're doing, but
Yeah.
it's there to check in on. So that's pretty
Definitely.
cool.
Yeah, because with the vibe of the situation and the cost, it was like
They're pretty
it was-
hip, right?
Yeah, it was so different.
Super
But
hip.
to get back to the situation, I thought the art was fantastic. I want to see more movies, or I guess more illustration and more art like this. I do think that the way that TMNT, the story played out was very fluid. I got behind it very quickly. It wasn't too kiddish. Jackie Chan, obviously super awesome. The way that Ice Cube was able to kind of be this dominant figure. The movie almost seemed like it was about him in that sense, because it's from the point of view of it's his view of what everything could be. And the Mutant Ninja Turtles then were able to kind of be like, ooh, I don't really know if I agree with that view, even though they come from the same primordial ooze. Ooze sounds a little bit better, right? Ooze sounds better than. And then ooze. And all of those like funny little moments, I think, really brought it back to my youth when I was watching live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, where they go to Japan in the time machine and fight
love
samurais.
that.
It's the best one. Now, I imagine an amalgamation of
really
those two, right? And I know that The Last Ronin is coming out soon as a video game. So TMNT like blowing up once again. I like too how they haven't added too much to the lore and like blew it up. Kind of like how He-Man did in Netflix. They not re-envisioned it, but like did it with the core and didn't just like blow up and expand out of into how big like Star Wars is or Harry Potter is, et cetera, et cetera. So I really
Right.
appreciated that about TMNT.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man. Well said. Yeah, it seems like it stayed true to the core of it. They've just kind of still found a unique way of looking at the group and just adding a little bit of a different spin, but it's not like, oh, and now we're going to go in time past, when they were little like they could have done it so crazy, and I think that's what Star Wars is doing. And I'm not mad at Star Wars for doing this. Like, it's a giant galaxy, and people have been asking for them to explore different parts of the galaxy. But it does seem like, okay, where are we at in the timeline of things? Where does this go in terms of A New Hope or a Phantom Menace, or like what, and like I find myself bogged down sometimes by those details rather than just like enjoying it for what it is. And you're saying, like, I guess what I'm getting from what you're saying about TMNT Mutant Mayhem is that that doesn't happen. You're just like, okay, cool, here's this story. It's still Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it's a little different, but like I'm on board with this.
And to add another button as well too, like I really enjoyed the age that they were. That they were kind of teens or like 12, 13 going into like 14, 15 kind of a situation, because watching the older ones, they were like adults, and adults trying to be cool is tough in general. You get those types of vibes, especially because they're mutants and turtles. That doesn't negate you from the age, acting, and maturity differentiation.
Yeah, they weren't really like teenagers. They were more like young adult mutant ninja turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like 19 for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would have been tried
But
as adults
that's
for
the
sure.
kind of. I mean, now that you brought that up, they're similar to Batman in that sense. Where like, and it's funny that they do a crossover at multiple times, but you get all these different variations of Batman, and like, there's always like that core thing that keeps Batman. But
Right.
you get anywhere from like the Batman or like Nolan's one or the one with Clooney. You know, like
Right.
it can be really silly, or Adam West, and like they're all still Batman. And just like Ninja Turtles, you get like the really serious, and then the really goofy, really young, really like everything in between, and it still feels like the Turtles. It's cool. Not many what is it?
Like IPs
Properties have been able to pull that off.
Yeah. no.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed. Totally agree on it. Yeah. Right on. Well, yeah, that's TMNT Mutant Mayhem, and yeah, it just sounds fun, and it sounds like they just knocked it out of the park. I mean, again, Seth Rogen like just seems to just hit home runs, so I'm glad for them. Yeah, I think it's doing okay at the box office. I don't think it's like completely smashing it. Like, I don't think it's dethroning Barbie or anything, but yeah, from what I see, it's doing pretty good. So that's cool. Willy's Wonderland. Scott, do you want to talk about that for a little bit? Because
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard about this, but I don't know anything about it. What is it about?
Yeah. So it's like a. Do you mind spoilers?
No,
Or do you
I
want,
mean,
like,
has
a
it been out
non-spoiler?
for a while?
Yeah. It came out in 2021.
Oh, then
So
yeah, spoil
okay,
away.
cool. It's been
It's
on
my
like
fault. I don't
kind of
get
my
spoiled.
list. Yeah, it's been on my list for like a bit, and it's Christine and I have decided to like start watching kind of spooky movies every once in a while, like, because when you try to squeeze it all into the month of October, and with their work schedules now, that you get like 2 movies and you're like, oh, it's gone. So
Right.
Willy's Wonderland was on the list, and it's bizarre. So the premise is like almost like a Five Nights at Freddy's, or like a Chuck E. Cheese sort of situation, where like there's this place that's like that. It's now abandoned, and Nick Cage is this character rolling through town, and his car goes over these spikes, and then this guy comes and he's like, "Hey, dude, like I can help you. I'll take you to like the tow truck thing, whatever. I'll take you to like the garage." He told
Oh, I
us
thought you were
stuff.
gonna say take you to the candy shop.
Take it to the candy shop. And then he takes them and he's like, "Oh, we don't have any like credit card system, all the electronic stuff. We're just cash only. It's gonna be this amount of money." And he's like, obviously, like, "I don't have this." And he's like, "Oh, okay, well, what you could do is you could work at this place, Willy's Wonderland. I want you to go in, clean it up overnight, and then by morning we'll have your car good to go."
Oh, I've seen this
Yeah.
trailer.
And he's like, yeah, and he's like, "Oh, okay." But the thing is, the whole movie, Nick Cage has no lines.
Wait, what? Like
He
zero?
speaks zero.
Like not even joking, but like literally he had 0 lines in it.
0 lines. And I was reading up on it, and I think there was a portion of there was like a script going around where he had maybe some lines, and he was like, "You know what? Take them all out if you can. I want to challenge myself and see if I can do it without any lines."
Wow.
And like, he just kind of has like, he kind of nods or whatever to like whatever's going on. Everyone just plays off of him having no lines, and it works.
Okay.
He's also like this weird character who like drinks these energy drinks like religiously every so many hours or whatnot.
Okay.
And like while he's cleaning up this place, you find out that the town people, they do this to people. They're like, "You want to clean up this place, and then by morning we'll have your car ready," knowing that these things are gonna come to life, and they're almost like a sacrificial type of thing. Like,
so they don't get the townspeople maybe.
so they don't come into town, because there's been like towards the end of the movie you find out like these things they'd leave that place, come into town, start killing people, and then they realize like that's kind of weird. Like these psychopaths, the original people who owned it, did some kind of seance thing, killed themselves, and then they got trapped into these things so they could kill forever or something. It's kind of bananas,
Okay.
but the whole town's like in on this, and they just sacrifice people. And Nick Cage is like this dude, for whatever reason, they hint at him maybe being more than what he is. He's just like a dude drinking these energy drinks. The guy's like, I want you to clean this place up and make sure to take breaks. Take a lot of breaks, okay? And he's like, just kind of nods. And he does that throughout the movie. So he's like cleaning, and then a thing will come to life and try and kill him. And he just has like this battle, and he beats the shit out of it, destroys it. Yeah. And then he'll like clean it up, and he'll get back to cleaning. And then his watch will go off. Yeah, and he'll go off, and he found this pinball machine. He's playing pinball, and he's drinking his drink. And then, but when it goes off again, he's like done with his drink, goes back to cleaning, kills another thing. But then there's these kids that break in trying to save him. They're like, we're gonna burn this place down. But they're like, we gotta make sure that guy who's in there cleaning doesn't die in the fire. So, dude, you gotta get out of there. And he just kind of looks at them, keeps cleaning, and they're like, we gotta go in and save him. They go in, and then doing that, they all end up start dying. But like, he never dies. It's like such a bizarre movie, and you're like, I was thinking maybe by the end he's like a werewolf or some sort, and like, or Blade, like Daywalker, or a Van Helsing or some sort, where he's like a Witcher. He's drinking these things, they're empowering him, and he's like, he's actually maybe there on purpose to like get rid of these demons or something. But like, they never explain it. Like,
there's just no backstory that's ever
there's a
told
part in
about
it
that.
where like, yeah, like towards the end of the film, it's kind of open-ended, I guess. Like the end of the film, like the thing blows up, the place blows up, but he's like driving away already. Like I think it was like the last creature, and they end up blowing up. But in his shades, you see the fire, but he's nowhere near it. So people think maybe he like represents death, and like he was there to like
help
these
them
were
pass on.
time to like kill them or something. But it's like a weird, bizarre movie, but it's like fun. They create like their own like Chuck E. Cheese type of music for the movie, and it's like creepy and like whatever. And it's like, I guess it's everything you'd expect the movie to be. It's like gory. It's Nick Cage being like the crazy guy of Nick Cage, like because when he's playing the pinball,
but like
he's like
completely mute.
he's like dancing, yeah, and he's just no words. So like, knowing this, I think it'd be a fun movie to like maybe, because I kind of ruined everything, but it would be fun to like approach someone who's never heard of this movie, watch it with them, and like I don't know, maybe drink or like just trash them, whatever it is. I think it's
every time
it's
he kills
there
something
to
or
just,
drinks
like,
an energy drink.
Yeah,
like every time he
just,
drinks an energy drink, take a shot. Every time he kills like a monster, take a shot. Every time one of the kids dies, take a shot.
Yeah,
or like something like that.
It was kind of fun trying to figure him out, and you're like, wait, what? You're like, what's going on? Like, I'm like watching this, like, what? And
I feel like
I
that's
think it'd be
every
fun
Nick
to watch
Cage movie for me. It's like, wait, what? Wait,
Exactly.
what is he doing? Whether it's Pig, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Renfield, which I don't think anybody saw, and now Willy's Wonderland is like.
Yeah, Renfield's on my list.
Trying to figure out Nick Cage.
Watch that next. But yeah, exactly. So I recommend watching this movie, even though you know the ending. Watch it with someone who knows nothing about it, and then just like laugh when they're like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like it's it's pretty great.
Isn't
Nice.
there a
It's fun.
Five Nights at Freddy's movie coming out
There
October
is.
too?
I think that, is it this? It's October.
I think it's Josh Hutcherson who's
Yes.
doing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
It looks good. It does look good. I'm pretty sure we talked about the trailer on here at some point, but
My bad.
yeah.
Oopsie.
But yeah, it looks
Yeah, it
fun.
was super cool.
And if they took some of the successes from this movie, which it doesn't sound terrible, it sounds like an interesting premise. Obviously, if they're making Five Nights at Freddy, I'm into it. I'll definitely have to check this out. It sounds like a perfect Halloween movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and,
definitely
like,
recommend it.
Yeah, and if I was waiting the whole time for him to speak and he never spoke, that would probably piss me off. So I actually appreciate. It's like the one time I actually like being spoiled a little bit.
That's good. No, because there was a point like halfway through the movie, I'm like, dude, you'd be hilarious if he like never says anything. So
And then
I
he
had the
just
opposite.
straight did it.
So like, and then he did it. I'm like, that's hilarious. Like, he just, like, I thought at the very end he'd say something like "cool" or something, but he never said anything. I'm like,
Right.
What?
And you're like, damn it, they got me. They got
I was
me.
also like throwing up in there. Like maybe he was like, if I say words, you're gonna have to pay me more. So like, I want to be a part of this. So like, whatever's gonna make it cheaper. And they're like, we just won't give you
Wow.
lines. And he's like, all right, deal. Like or something like that. Because it
Nice.
definitely feels like, I mean, Nick Cage can do whatever he wants. We've seen him in crazy movies. So
Yeah,
this does feel like a Nick Cage type of movie. It's fun.
that's awesome.
And he's also been Ghost Rider. So you're like
that's
you're
true,
used
yeah.
to him defeating demons, I guess, on a subconscious.
Is
Yeah.
he gonna be in the Marvel Universe again then?
Yeah, I don't know. As the janitor.
Yeah. I feel like if he's going to be in anything, it seems like Deadpool 3 because every day I hear some new rumor about someone getting cast. Like there's a big rumor going around right now that Taylor Swift is going to be Dazzler.
Yeah, I saw that. That seems it's going to be real expensive for Disney. So just
Yeah, but
that
if
doesn't
any-
make sense.
True, but if anybody can pull him in, it's
It would be
the MCU and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
If Ryan
You'd be
Reynolds
cool-
was like, "Could you be in my movie?" You'd probably be like, "Yeah, I mean, sure." You know, like
Yeah.
you got Brad Pitt to do it for a cup of coffee.
That's true. Yeah.
That's true. What if they had even like a small scene, like yeah, like Brad Pitt, you see him for that split second. It'd be kind of hilarious if they had like for a couple seconds an insane cast and then they all die, like
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
show them for a second.
Yeah.
like that would be funny.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. And what was it, Deadpool 2, where he's at the Xavier Institute and it had the whole first class cast in one of the rooms and he didn't see. He was like, he bumps it open, I think, with the wheelchair. And then they're all like in behind the scene or like behind the door just hiding and they don't say anything. And he like just rolls away because Colossus comes.
Yeah.
You know, like they had that. Why wouldn't
true.
they have all these other ridiculous actors? So I don't know. I think it's possible. I mean, he got Hugh Jackman to come back and play Wolverine when Hugh was like, I'm done. So for that to happen is crazy. People love Kevin Feige.
Right.
Maybe. There was something else. Speaking about someone in the MCU, we had our Captain America, Anthony Mackie, in a show on Peacock that was based off of video game. We talked about this before.
Oh.
Twisted Metal. I got through the first 2 episodes, was not able to finish it. I think you were, Scott.
Yeah,
What did you think about Twisted Metal as a series?
Twisted Metal was way better than I thought it was gonna be.
Oh,
I didn't
elaborate.
expect much from this show, honestly. I thought it'd be just like an okay, fun show. Maybe seriously along the lines of like Halo, but maybe more decent. You know what I mean?
Ouch.
Like when
That's
you watch
messed up,
Halo.
bro.
Here's the thing: when you watch Halo, there are because you played the game, you're like, oh, if they had more money, they could do this way cooler. But I'll take that sort of thing. And then of course there were
Yeah.
sprinkles of like, wow, that was a cool fight. But then you're always thinking like, oh, I get it, the budget. But this, it's like, I guess the franchise, you don't really need much money other than like getting cars and like attaching guns to them. So like, the premise of this was cool. Like, I didn't expect much. So it's like post-apocalyptic. All the major cities have like these big walls around them. They threw all the prisoners out into the wild, and it's just like it's like a wasteland. And Anthony Mackie plays. He's a milkman, and he's basically like a runner. So he'll jump in his car and he'll run goods to another city. He'll get gas and whatever for it, and then they'll be like, I have a thing for you to send to this city. He's never allowed into these cities, but he's grew up on the outside, and that's all he knows. And like even that premise is like, okay, this is cool. Like so, that's the reason he goes around. That's why he has to soup up his car. That's why he has these gunfights and stuff. And like he's really funny about it. It's like silly, like there's like Deadpool-esque sort of things where like
Yeah.
a normal person would be freaking out, and he's like, oh man, they got an Adidas here. Like he's in a mall.
Yeah. Oh, there's a Foot
and then-
Locker in here.
Oh yeah, there's a Foot Locker, and then
Yeah,
like
and he-
on the way out, he snags shoes.
Snags
and you're
those, yeah, the pair.
yeah, it's like okay, this
I
is
think
cool.
Deadpool's a great comparison because you're like, wait, what? There's like a joke, and it's actually some of it's like kind of seems scary a little bit, and then some of
Yeah.
the jokes come out, you're like, wait, what? What? You know, it kind of catches you off guard. You're like, damn,
Yeah.
they're really just throwing a joke in there. All right, I guess this is how we're doing it.
Yeah, definitely. And like Anthony Mackie's, I found him really funny in this show, and he has great chemistry with Stephanie Beatrice.
Beatrice,
Oh
Yeah, yeah, Rosa.
Rosa
and,
Diaz, yeah.
Yeah.
Which she
She's
doesn't
great,
say
too.
anything for a long time either. In like the first 2
Yeah.
episodes, she doesn't say anything.
I mean,
so-
her name's Quiet, right? Like he calls her Quiet for like ever, I think. So, yeah, the cast is great. The guy who plays Sweet Tooth, Samoa Joe, voiced by Will Arnett, like works. I mean, when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, this is kind of whatever. But I don't know, his character for me was just like he's crazy, but he's also like for whatever reason like bonds with Anthony Mackie and Quiet, like John Doe and Quiet. He's John Doe because he doesn't know his name, but he like forms a friendship there, but then like he kills everyone else, and like he's almost like the Joker in a sense, but like he he also has a really nice side until like, so you're like, oh, he's a nice guy until he's like does something so horrible, and you're like, wow, this guy is insane. You don't want to be around him, and then he's like nice again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There was like enough of it to remind me of the game, and then there was enough building in the show for me to not get bored. Like, I was like, okay, I get he's a milkman, and then they add another layer to it. They start telling you what it's like in some of the cities, like Quiet, her character, what she experiences. Like, I won't ruin anything, but what like, just because you live in the city doesn't mean it's great. Like, there's a class system in the city, so like what she had to go through there, you get to witness that, and like because the world's gone to shit, there's certain things that they do in this world that's like completely fucked up, but do
It's
it in a way like it's
acceptable.
completely normal. Like,
Yeah.
and you see it when you see it, but it's like it's fucking bananas. But it's enough for you to be like, whoa, like, and it just keeps you like watching more. And like, there's also what's his name? I want to see him real quick.
Denzel
Thomas
Washington.
Hayden Church.
Thomas Hayden Church. Yeah, it's close.
He plays
yeah.
Agent Stone, and like he's trying to bring the law back.
Yeah.
And like he's fucked up. Like the cops there just kill anybody. They like make an example. It's crazy. So like it's just a cool, kind of fun Mad Max type of unique world they created. And it seems like they're gonna jump into a season 2. And season 2 almost like hints at like what closer to what the game was maybe about. So that's what made it cooler because I was like I didn't even think they were gonna go anywhere near like what I thought this was it.
Like it
But
possibly turns into like a battle royale of like the best race
Yeah.
fighters or whatever. Drive
yeah.
fighters.
So they hinted at. I'm like, oh fuck, and I'm excited for season 2. But like this
Damn,
season 1 is
that's
done
pretty
so
cool.
well. Yeah, I strongly recommend this show. Like I didn't expect much out of it, and especially if you got Peacock, like check it out. It's a fun show. It's a fun comedy action show. Surprising. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, a couple weeks ago when me and Drake were talking about it, I was like, actually, episode 1 was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm kind of on board with this. Episode 2 kind of did its thing, but after what you told me, I feel like I have to jump back in and just drive right through to the end of the series because it actually sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. And they're 30-minute episodes, so it's like easy to be like, you're like, oh, that one wasn't as strong as maybe like you said, like episode
Race
2
through
wasn't as
them.
strong as the first one, but like if you're just chilling at home, you got a day off, you could get through half the season. You know?
Yeah.
Like a movie, 2.5 hours. Kind of
Right.
thing.
Hell yeah.
It's an easy watch for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, love the cast. Love what I've seen so far. Great review. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna be checking out Twisted Metal for sure. I'm on
yeah.
board.
Do it.
All right, a show that I really dug that was on HBO. Well, it was HBO Max. Now cut the most important part, and on Max, we got Winning Time Season 2. It's back. I don't know. Did you guys ever watch Season 1?
I haven't, but it's on my list. I know, dude.
Wow. That was
I don't
like
know
one
how
of
I
my
haven't seen it yet.
favorite shows like a couple years ago. I was like, you guys got to watch it. It's so good. It's
I know,
about
and I
like
was like,
the
never.
Showtime Lakers. I want to
Yeah.
say from the 80s. So crazy. Season 1 was so good. So
Well,
anyways,
so I don't know much about basketball though. Like to be honest, so like, could I still enjoy the show, even if like I'm not like a super huge fan? Like, is the acting is it well
oh
written?
my god,
And the acting's
acting
awesome and
is
all that stuff?
phenomenal. Like
Okay.
it's John C. Riley. He plays Dr. Buss, who buys the Lakers, but it's like John C. Riley, and
Right.
he's playing like classic. Just he's like the guy from Step Brothers.
Right.
But he's a doctor and rich and blah blah. His mom is Sally Fields. They
Awesome.
found
Okay.
this kid who looks pretty damn close to Magic Johnson, who's a really good actor. Adrian Brody's in it. He plays Pat Riley. And then there
sick.
is Jason Segel's in it, and he plays the assistant coach. Like, it's a phenomenal cast. And it's just this time in the NBA where things aren't booming. Like, the NBA might go bankrupt. And it's what Dr. Buss does to, like, flip the Lakers organization around. And then by default, or by a series of events, it flips the whole NBA around and turns it into a spectacle and, like, must-see TV rather than just some sports thing that people would watch. It's like, it was really freaking good. I loved season 1. Now we're back with season 2. I'm digging it. If you like season 1, it carries exactly what it carries what season 1 was about into season 2.
Okay.
The first episode is really long though. I think it's like almost an hour and a half. So I was like, holy
like a
crap.
movie.
Yeah, it was like a full movie for the first episode, which I don't mind because there's so many characters and there's so many storylines kind of going on, but it works. It's real punchy too. It like moves from one thing to the next.
Nice.
But then it also is a little. All I'll say is like this first episode, there's so much they try to pack into it. It's a lot for like episode 1 of a season, but it kind of just picks you back up right where season 1 ends. So that's really cool. And yeah, the drama keeps continuing because, I mean, spoiler alert: if you go back in time to history, like this
Right, it's based on
year,
history. It's fine.
they win the big championship, but then season 2 literally picks up back up of season 2 of this team, and it's not all rainbows and sunshine and like we're gonna win every game for the rest of time. Like, no, shit still is happening. There's still a lot of things that they're at odds with, and some problems ensue, and you're like, man, is this team gonna make it? Like, even knowing what we know about the Lakers now and the dynasty, and then Kobe Bryant and Shaq, and now LeBron being on the team, it still makes you feel like, man, I don't know if this team's gonna last. Like, I don't know if if Dr. Buzz is gonna lose the whole team, or if Magic gets traded, and like all this stuff. It's crazy,
Right.
Because it's based off history. So it's so good. I'm super happy to have it back. Highly. I'll just say, I'm not promoting it or anything, but I'm just saying, like, I enjoy it. I'm happy to have it back.
Nice. Okay.
Sick.
Yeah,
I'm
so that's
gonna
what
check
we've
it
done.
out.
Definitely. If you're looking for a new series, and it's only on episode 2, so they're gonna be re-releasing things. I don't know if it's like a Sunday night premiere, but I think it might be Max's Sunday night show that they released.
Wow.
So yeah, it's good. All right, and then the last thing is Star Trek: Strange New Worlds season 2 just finished, and man, what a good season! Like, I've never been a Star Trek show fan, but this has got me hooked. I'm a little bit sucked into this. There was definitely, like, this was one of the shows this summer where I was waiting for the new episode to come out. I was like, man, it's Thursday. Like, yes, Strange New Worlds has a new episode dropping. And season 1 took me a little bit of time to get into. Like, I tried, and I was like, I don't know if it's for me. And then our friends over at Geek Freaks were like, hey, check this out. It's really good. And then when I got into like episode 4 or 5 of season 1, then it started clicking. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I get why this is cool. It was different than what I thought Star Trek was, which was like for super nerds, and it was like super technical, and you got to know all this space techno jargon, but it's not about that. It's about the relationships and the people in the ship and what they mean to each other, how they interact, and then how they handle like these existential threats. Well, season 2 ramps that back up. The emotions are deeper for everybody. The character development's deeper. The way they get into funny situations, and also like some of the time travel things in this, like Marvel needs to just hire these writers.
Yeah.
Because the way they're doing time travel and multiverse stuff, it still feels like it has weight. Like when a character dies in a different timeline, like you actually feel sad about it. Not like, Multiverse of Madness, it felt like whatever, for me anyway.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
But in this Star Trek late season, like you definitely like, oh my God, like that version of them is dead. That sucks. And so I think they did a really good job. The whole season's been great. I love the cast. I love Captain Pike. I love the guy that plays Spock. There is also a musical episode in the penultimate episode.
Whoa.
They do a musical, and
You like it?
I did. I didn't love it, but like I was still kind of blown away by how good of singers some of the actors were. I was like, damn, I did not expect that person to sing so well, and they do, and it kind of works. And then the last episode, they've kind of been queuing up this alien enemy that's just a brood, like just murders everybody. They can't stop them, and it kind of shows up in the last episode, and there's like this really big battle. And it seems like all is lost, and I will say it kind of ends like Across the Spider-Verse ends. Like there's like too much story left for it to feel like a true ending, at least in my opinion. And Yeah, that was the only thing that was a little bit hard to swallow. But other than that, I think this season's been incredible. I think it's even better than the first season. And if you're gonna ever try to jump into Star Trek, because this is me jumping into Star Trek, like I think this is the show to do it. Because it looks incredible and the writing's incredible, acting's incredible. It's just really good all around.
Ooh, is it? What is it comparable to? Because I've watched the Chris Pine Star Treks and I really enjoyed those. Obviously, larger production, but from some of the snapshots I've seen, like the quality of the video and the graphics have been super awesome. So, what would you compare it to?
You're right. Yeah, VFX are outstanding. So you mentioned the Chris Pine, what is it, J.J. Abrams Star Trek?
Yes,
right?
yes.
I think that's who did it,
Yep.
or something like that. It's not that. Like I felt like, and somebody else, I can't take credit for this definition, but a person who does a Star Trek podcast said that was Star Trek trying to be Star Wars.
Oh,
And there was a lot of
interesting.
Trek in there for Trek fans to appreciate it, but that was definitely like Star Trek trying to be Star Wars. Now this feels like Star Trek trying to be Star Trek, but just updated. And starting with previous characters than the Captain Kirk. I mean, he's in it too, but it's the captain before him.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting to see almost a prequel, but the VFX look awesome. Everything looks good. I guess they use the volume a little bit too. So there's parts where they're in this ship and they're showing like these crazy tunnels that I don't know, I guess have to do something with the engine or the hyperdrive or something. And it just looks like it goes on for miles and it looks really fucking good. And I think it's because they use this type of VFX thing that they've really dialed. I can't say one bad thing about the special effects in this. There's a little bit of cheesiness in it, but it's kind of good cheese. Not quite Cobra Kai, but
Yeah.
there's still a little bit in there, and it's just enough, man, where it's kind of like, this is good. There was this legal episode that I thought was so well done. I was like, man, this might be one of the best written episodes I've seen all year in anything. It was like I was really blown away by that episode. So, I think it's a phenomenal show. And if you've never watched Star Trek, I think this is a good place of the pool to like dip your toe in.
Okay.
It'll make us Star Trek horny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you mash those together?
Storny?
Nice. Well done. Yeah, so make you super storny. So,
Sick.
yeah, I'm pretty storny for it. I just kind of like I already wish that there was a season 3. I recommend it. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of all I got. Any other thing else? I don't know what that means. Anything else you guys want to say to wrap up this episode?
August 23rd, Ahsoka is coming out. Something that we're all excited to see. So don't forget, mark your calendars, take off from work, buy Disney Plus, whatever you need to do.
Don't buy Disney Plus. But we'll figure out a good way to give you a code. But we'll definitely have to watch it. And the one thing I can say about that too is I'm only going to be with you guys for 1 week before I'm out for a handful of weeks. So Drake and Scott will be carrying the torch for
So
Ahsoka.
it'll just be Scott and I talking about cool stuff, living the dream.
Yeah, you might catch me in the
Finally.
That's what I've been saying. I've been trying to get my way out of this.
Never gonna
Take
get
this
it,
over.
bro.
Never gonna get it.
Never gonna get it.
What about you, Scott?
I don't know. There's a lot of things I gotta watch. Apparently, like I'm already watching a lot of things, but you brought up 2 great shows that I'm missing out on. I gotta dive in.
These
Yeah.
nuts?
When you got time. Yes, you might be missing out on these nuts too.
Yes.
But yeah, when you got time.
Always.
And Winning Time is still new, so you have time for the second season. And Star Trek Stranger Worlds just finished season 2, so you got time on both those. We also have, Scott, you're gonna dig this. We're gonna have the One Piece show coming out very soon too.
Yeah,
Oh
dude.
yeah.
So
I wanna
that's
check
gonna be
that out.
So I can't wait for that. And then last but not least, we are still going to be supporting and thinking about and trying to help our Ohana friends in Maui. Like, it's not over just because the news may be going down on it. I mean, it definitely will not be out of my brain. And we'll continue to add links to places where you can donate. Again, if you are thinking about traveling to Hawaii during this time,
Don't do that shit.
Don't do that
Or
shit.
Maui.
Yeah. Or Maui specifically. I mean, yeah, I don't know how. I think even Oahu is taking some of their resources and trying to, supply people with it in Maui. Now,
true, too.
now may not be the time to. It's definitely not the time to visit Maui, but in Hawaii in general, and just think about those people. If you can donate, definitely donate. If you can only wish well, say a prayer for them, like definitely do it, because there's definitely a lot of people that are hurting from this, and
Sure.
and it's a part of our home state, so we'll definitely be supporting those people. So
Yeah, well said.
yeah. All right, Drake, well, give us the catchphrase and close us out.
Everybody watching today, this evening, wherever you are, thanks for sticking it with us.
Well done.